Texas is another state seeing alarming rises in its numbers too. Let's look at that, and let's look at the national context as we go through. There's first just the national trend map. Now, rising cases alone doesn't mean you should be overly worried, but rising cases is not good. And 25 states now reporting more cases this week than last week. 8 of those states, 50% or higher more cases this week than last week. You see them in the deep red, and they include, Rosa Flores just talked to us from Miami, Florida, Texas as well, Oklahoma, where the president's rally was, Arizona, where the president is heading today. Michigan's back on the map there, 50% plus higher this week than last week. Not good. Doesn't mean it's out of control, but simply not good. If you want to look at states with the highest new cases, again, the president uses words like fading, dying off. 13 states just yesterday hit their highest 7-day average of new cases. That is not fading. That is not dying off. That is a continuing, growing problem in some of these states. 25 states up, 13 states with their highest 7-day average just yesterday. Now let's look at Texas. You see here, this tracks.
This whole area here, this whole city block here, has been a hot spot all day. East Lake Street, Minnehaha, and they're right there. They're starting to. We're gonna move back. They're starting to throw Molotov cocktails. We're going.
Are certainly putting their hope in the pandemic coming to an end with a vaccine. There are pharmaceutical companies across the globe that are now working feverishly to make that happen. But if a vaccine is actually found in the coming months, that would be unprecedented. Typically, the process takes years due to government oversight. But a newly launched program called Operation Warp Speed is spending billions of dollars to safely speed up the process. Tonight, our Bob Woodruff begins our weekly series with a look at where things stand. He speaks with the CEO of a company who hopes to have a vaccine by the end of the year.
The race to develop a COVID-19 vaccine is accelerating. Of the 4 vaccine companies to receive money from the government's new so-called Operation Warp Speed, this week, Novavax became the highest funded, $1.6 billion.
Now the expensive part gets going, which is getting into human clinical trials. We're trying to scale up from very small scale production into large scale production to be able to make 100 million doses starting by the end of this year.
Those 100 million doses will be produced before the company knows the vaccine is safe and effective, a huge financial risk. But Novavax has worked on coronavirus vaccines for SARS and MERS in the past, as well as a vaccine for Ebola.
Why was your company chosen for this?
We've been making vaccines for emerging infectious diseases since I've been there for the last decade. So our technology is a bit different from most others.
There are no guarantees, but Novavax and others are optimistic there will be a viable vaccine, possibly by the end of this year.
If this turns out to be a very efficient, good vaccine, when do you think we would get the chance to take it?
I think we expect to have vaccine available, produced, and on the shelf of some warehouse by the fourth quarter of this year. The first people to get it are going to be the frontline healthcare workers, and they'll get the first 50 million doses or however many doses, and then it'll start to spread out for people who are most at risk of getting seriously ill.
Another recipient of Operation Warp Speed funds, Moderna, acknowledged that there have been differences of opinion with the U.S. government. Despite that, both the U.S. government and Moderna agree that its vaccine is advancing faster than any in modern history. Moderna says it's on track to deliver 500 million doses of its vaccine in 2021. This is Bob Woodruff, tracking the race for a vaccine.
It's time for you to let that shit go. The only way you can grow is if you let go. You gotta let go to grow. Anyway, take care of yourself, man. I love y'all. Spiritual Soul signing out, bro.